Hello, soul spiralers. How are you doing today? I am here on my own again today and was planning to put out a meditation first, but I just really wanted to have a chat about something that's been kind of in my field lately and in others as well through the conversations I've had. And we're definitely living in a space at the moment where there's so much variation with what we see externally, but there's not a lot of variation with the things that we see perhaps online. And I mentioned negative bonding in a recent podcast, I think on my last solo podcast. And it just has been something that's been very in my thought process at the moment of why so many of us find it so hard to love, and why so many of us find it so hard to love ourselves and those around us. And in that more unconditional sense of being able to have acceptance in the way that we love, there's this real aspect of needing to have courage to even like yourself in this society that we live in that thrives off negative bonding, and having that courage to accept yourself in the society that we live in that thrives off negative bonding and negativity. Yeah, it's just something very interesting. And I think that we live in this society that, and our generation, or my generation, and my parents' generation and their parents' generation, going back and back and back, have had this conditioning in a sense that to receive love, there almost needs to be something wrong with you, or you need to be sick to receive that love and comfort, or you need to have something going wrong to receive love and comfort. And I see this play out in friendships, and I see this play out in other relationships, any relationship really, is that some people find it much easier to connect over negative things than perhaps positive things. And it makes me wonder if the reason that happens is because the only way that they were able to connect with their parents or with others is because of this in their upbringing. And there's almost like this call out culture going on at the moment as well, which is almost reflective of that even further, where, I think it's important to call people out when you feel that there's a lack of authenticity, but the way that we go about it can be in a kind way. And I think that the world is needing more kindness at the moment. So I wanted to pose the question to yourself, like, if you have noticed, when you were a child, how did you receive the most love? What were you doing? Was it because you were successful at something? Because some people do receive love when they're very successful. Other people didn't receive love when they're very successful, or when they met a certain grade and things like that. There was always that aspect of, you can do better, this isn't good enough. And so we're constantly striving to prove ourselves in terms of receiving love. And perhaps sometimes the only time you receive love and comfort is when you actually were sick. And I see this play out as well in this context of people almost like becoming so identified with their sickness because they feel like subconsciously that they receive more love when they understand themselves in that way and they compose themselves in that way, and people feel pity for them. And there's a real difference between pity and love. And I think that there's a confusion that can go on. Having the courage to be your true self in this society, and having the courage to be disliked and find a way to still love yourself or like yourself, is honestly, like, probably most people I speak with and most clients I speak with's biggest challenge. How do you share and bond with other people? Can you bring awareness in whether you tend to be more in a negative space and being able to only bond over the negative or things that are going wrong in your life? Or are you able to bring more of that positivity in? And sometimes it's just that simple awareness that we need to bring through, that with some people, you might notice that it's more that negative, and with other people, you can be yourself and celebrate your gifts. Still, obviously, express things that you need to express that are maybe more negative, but that not being the only way that you bond with other people. And it's really interesting, like, even just being able to share more love with other people and celebrate wins, let's say, with other people. Do you feel uncomfortable to share in that way? And if you do, it's quite possible that you've been conditioned to believe that you only receive love if you are failing, or if you are constantly striving or working, or if you are unwell or bonding over something negatively. So that being said, as I mentioned, it is important to be able to express what you need to express, but is that coming from truth, or is it coming from needing pity or needing sympathy, let's say? And the other side of that is, are you the person that cuts the other one down when they share love or unity or celebrate? Because that's a big one, is noticing when you make another person feel small for them sharing their love and truth in that way. We are there's so much negativity in the world. And as I said, we need to be able to express ourselves. But I think it's so, so important to be able to express love and express kindness and express, random acts of kindness and graciousness in this. I don't think that you should fake positivity and love if you're not feeling it. But in actual fact, understanding and being kind to yourself when you're feeling that way is the true unconditional love. It's being able to love yourself even when you aren't feeling your best self, because you are your best self always. And being your best self means that you're worthy of love all the time. And this is something that most of us struggle with. Love and kindness make the day brighter, better. It allows the ability to acknowledge and heal, evolve, and move forward in life. When we have an emotion come up, it only actually lasts for no more than 2 minutes. But if we're holding on to the tension around whatever that is and not letting it go and allowing the flow of new things to come through, maybe we never get to that point of feeling that beauty and love. Pain and hatred towards another person or to ourselves, it poisons. It'll poison the other person, but it poisons ourselves the most. It brings the most damage to ourselves when we hold that pain and hatred toward another. When we let go of whatever resistance it is to express love and allow yourself to see, receive, and bond over love. I used to get so triggered by people sharing like PDA online, or sharing love for their partner, or even if I saw someone kissing in public, it used to make me feel uncomfortable. And I had this strong belief that it was something that should be kept private. But in hindsight now, this was years ago, I felt that way. And it's been a process for me to get to the point that I feel comfortable sharing love online. And now that's all I want to share, because I feel that we need more love, because we are bombarded with negativity. We are bombarded with arguments, fighting. We are bombarded with consumerism online. We're bombarded with this call-out culture. We're bombarded with so many different things, so much bad news, let's say, on our social media feed, but yet someone posts something loving and we think that that's inappropriate. It's that's so backwards to think that. So it's something to notice, why are we getting triggered by the love? Is that because we're not allowing ourselves to really feel that love? Because that's what I realized, is I was getting triggered by other people sharing love because it was something within me that was creating the rejection of beauty and love. And when we allow the full acceptance of love, we can see the beauty in more aspects of our life, and we can see the beauty in more moments in our life, and we're less likely to get triggered or take things personally. Someone else posting something online has nothing to do with you. Most people are sharing and expressing and doing what they're doing from their own point of view, based off their own experiences, based off their present moment. Yet we take so much offense to that person. I'm just noticing this and hearing so many of my friends and different people I know experiencing this. We take offense when we don't have the context. And that to me just tells me that there's pain there in that person that's having that response. So if you're someone that notices you're having that response, how can you go into your own pain? How can you go into understanding yourself better? I had to move through multiple relationships in my life that were not in my truth to discover that I was rejecting love. I was putting it down because part of me was afraid. If I had love fully within my life and I loved myself, would people dislike me? Would they think that I'm up myself? Would they even hate me? Would there be something that's wrong with me by liking myself or loving myself or sharing love with another? Would I end up not receiving love from those around me by sharing love? It's so crazy to think that those fears prevent us from stepping into true kindness and love. And being successful is another role that plays into that. And I see this in clinic quite regularly as well, is that self-sabotage starts playing out. Because if you're successful, people won't love you. People won't understand you. People won't relate to you or want to be around you. So we self-sabotage and we become afraid of our own success. And we play small and we continue to feel crappy because we never truly step into our power and into our truth because we're afraid of not being loved. When in actual fact, the more that you are in your essence, the more love that you can cultivate for yourself, and then that can flow out to other people. And there are always going to be other people that get triggered by that. But usually they're getting triggered by that because they haven't witnessed their own love and graciousness within themselves. And I always say it's good to trigger people in a sense, because if you're triggering someone, you're sparking something within them that needs to be looked at or to grow. We don't get triggered unless we are ready to make a change, in a sense, or part of our soul is asking us to make a change. That's my opinion anyway. The narrative in our society is shifting in a way. Like there's much more support going on of supporting other women to women. That's what I see in my field a lot, but there is still almost so much that's polarizing in this culture. The truth is that what I see is that we need to find our truth and happiness in our own life and stay true to that, but also be able to accept change when it comes up or accept and integrate different opinions. It's not saying that we should get so rigid in who we are that we never change. It's being able to be adaptable to that and being able to, if there is something you notice in a person that you want to talk to them about, how can you practice kindness and love? And are you practicing the need to change them from the point of view of your own ego because you're perceiving something wrong with them, because you're perceiving something wrong within yourself? Because when we take it from that perspective, why do you need to change another person? The most important person that you can change is yourself, but you don't have to change yourself to be worthy of love, is my constant message and reminder. Accepting others that may have a different take and a different perspective is also part of this. And that doesn't make them or us wrong if someone has a different perspective. It just makes it different. And when we can accept that in ourselves and one another, a massive amount of healing can occur. It's like if we went into a garden or a botanic garden, let's say, and out in nature, and there was only one type of flower, let's say it's roses. It would be beautiful. You'd be able to just walk around and see all the roses all the time. But when if there was only one type of flower in the whole world, and whatever that would be, it would be beautiful. But we would start to become a little more subdued and desensitized to the world around us, and not able to witness the beauty in a sunflower, or the beauty in tulips, or the beauty in hibiscus. Like, all of those flowers are beautiful too. They don't have to be exactly the same to be worthy of beauty or worthy of love. They're all very different. And so we as humans are the same. Same with trees, you know? You don't want just one type of tree. You don't want just one type of flower, because the soil changes, it becomes a bit stagnant. But if you have the right biodiversity going on in nature, just like we need the right biodiversity going on in our differences, in our opinions, in our values, in our perspectives, that's what creates this beautiful synergy of the experience in life. And so when we accept that difference in ourselves and one another, a massive amount of healing occurs. When we practice kindness to those people that are different to us, or to ourselves that are different from what we see, that kindness flows out onto another person and onto another person. Don't underestimate the amount of impact you can have by being kind to another person, and by practicing like an act of kindness to another person. Because when we show kindness and love, even in the face of perhaps the opposite of what's showing up, we allow that person to feel, you know, whatever they're feeling in that moment. But at some point, they're going to realize that person was kind to me, whether it's for no reason, whether it's in the face of pain, or whether it's just because we need to share more love. And maybe you spark that thought in that person to think, maybe I should be kind to someone today. Imagine if each of us took a random act of kindness or love to another person today, and think about that inspiring another random act of love or kindness in another person. And then that flows on and flows on and flows on and flows on. It's like such this beautiful reciprocity that can occur in the flow of our earth. I often wonder, if we look at the energies of the earth, not just the physical things that are perhaps needing some restructuring, you know, me being very subtle with the way I say things, but can an action like kindness and the energy that flows from it, could that actually be a big part in what allows us to heal the earth and the planet? But especially the thing that needs the most healing is our relationship with the planet and our relationships with ourselves. It's all about relationships, really. What is your relationship like with your family, yourself, and your environment? Those three things is what you are living in. So even when it's tough, how can you choose an act of kindness today? Something simple. What about telling someone that their energy is beautiful? What about telling yourself that you are a capable, brilliant human here to be great in your greatness? What about picking a flower and giving it to a stranger? Or buying a coffee for the person behind you in the line? What about doing something random like singing or reciting a poem for someone? Maybe not a stranger, but maybe yes, a stranger. Make someone feel special today. It's an amazing way to actually allow yourself to feel love and kindness. And whether or not they are inspired to pass it on to the next person, which you'll probably never know, there is the true magic there. The weaving of the relationships within ourselves, within other people, and finding that acceptance. And connect to your truth. Notice when you're being triggered by other people. Notice if you step into that negative bonding space, and ask yourself, what are you hiding from in yourself beneath that? Where is your truth? What does your truth tell you in your heart? Taking that moment to like connect and breathe, turning off the things that don't allow you to have that connection, whether that's social media or the news, and just allow yourself to take some time to connect with you and start to understand and listen to what your truth is and what that truth is in love and kindness. Because truth coming from spite is not really real truth. There's an aspect of it. There's an aspect that needs to be acknowledged and moved through. But if you are stuck in spite or stuck in any level of hatred, I don't believe that's your true self. That's just your pain body. And sure, that might be part of you depending on whatever traumas you've experienced in your life. But you get a choice whether that stays with you forever or whether you learn to move through that, to work with it, accept it as part of you and accept it as part of your beautiful mess, let's say, but then still choose love and kindness at the end of the day. So I'm going to read to you a passage from a book called Love Without Conditions by Paul Farini. And it's written from the point of view of Jesus. Though I wouldn't call myself someone that ascribes to Christian faith, but I can see the beauty in it. So I hope that you can see that too. Not withholding love. Giving another the love he needs strengthens that love in you. Withholding that love from him diminishes your awareness of love's presence. When your sister acts inappropriately and demands your attention, she turns you off and you turn away from her. After all, you know you cannot meet her demands. Yet by turning away from your sister, you withhold from her. And when you withhold from her, you are also withholding love from yourself. Your sister only wants your love, but she does not know how to ask for it. Indeed, she is confused about what love is, so she asks for money or sex or something else. She tries to manipulate you to get what she wants. Of course, you don't want to be manipulated. You don't want to reinforce inappropriate behavior by giving in to her demands, but you don't want to reject her either. So what do? You act in a loving way towards her. You give her the love that she really wants. You give whatever you can give freely, and you don't worry that you aren't meeting her demands. In other words, you say yes to loving her and no to being manipulated. You say no, but you do not cast her out of your heart. You do not judge her or separate from her. You refuse to be a victim or a victimizer. You offer her love in response to her fearful thoughts. You say, "No, friend, I cannot give you what you ask, but I will find a way to support you that affirms both of us. I will not reject you. I will not pretend you are less worthy than me. Your need for love is as important as mine, and I honor it." This is how the lover talks to the beloved. He does not say, "I will do anything you want." He says, "I will find a way to honor us both." The lover is equal to the beloved. They are the mutual expression of love. It is important that you understand this. Many of you believe that if you do not say yes to another's demands, you are not acting in a loving way. That is not true. Never say yes to another's demands. That is not loving yourself. Please be gentle with yourself. Do not place another's needs before your own. Love has nothing to do with sacrifice. Please understand this. Some of you believe that you must say no to everyone to protect yourself from their demands. That is not true. By saying no to everyone, you just hold on to your fear of intimacy. Distancing others physically or psychologically is a fear tactic. It has nothing to do with love. Please see how you reject others to try to keep yourself and how you reject yourself in order to try and keep others. Both gestures are a denial of authenticity and intimacy. Only the authentic person, one who honors her own truth, is capable of intimacy with another. Only the compassionate person, one who honors the other person's truth, is capable of being himself fully. You cannot receive if you do not give who you are away, and you cannot give if you do not receive others as they are. Do not capitulate to others' demands. Refuse to be manipulated. Say no when you feel trespassed upon, and then forgive the trespass. Do not hold on to the no. Do not let the no to the person's behavior become a no to their call for love and support. Forgive the trespass and be willing again to love and support. Practice this and stay in the moment. Let your no to manipulation become a yes to love and support. Let your yes to love and support become a no to manipulation. Honor yourself and others equally. Do not attack or you will be the victim. Do not defend or you will be the one who attacks. Let love replace all your grievances. If you feel attacked, say no to the attack, but do not attack back. If you attack others, realize it and make amends. Do not carry your guilt into the next attack. Correct the problem in the moment. The more you give love, the more you will attract. That is because you stay in the vibration of love by loving. You stay in the vibration of abundance by giving. You must learn to say yes to people's need for love and support. The more you do this, the less their behavior towards you will be motivated by fear. If you wish to dissolve violence, do not make the fearful more afraid. Communicate to them your love and support. Love redeems, hatred condemns. You will never realize the power of love until you begin to exercise it in your life. Do not cast your enemies out of your heart, but learn to accept them in there, and they will cease to be your enemies. All anyone wants is to be loved and accepted as she is. Give her that, and she will not be afraid. Give her that, and she will have no need to attack you. It is time you understood that what you withhold from your sister, you withhold from yourself. For she is not separate from you, and only in recognizing her worthiness is your own confirmed. Oh, I just love this book so much. Alex and I read a chapter of it most nights to each other. And it's really just that perfect reminder of how can we bring more love into our lives even when we find it tough to do so. I'm going to leave you with an oracle card pull to finish the day, or this little podcast session. Flames of Wisdom, Crone. I am open to all life's wisdom, and I share it with gratitude. It seems like an ample reminder that what I share here might not be your truth, it might not be your dharma, it might not be your sovereignty, but being open to all the wisdom that life has to show us and taking each moment as an access to that. Who knows where you might go? Who knows what love you might come across just by being open? Yummy. Thank you so much, dear ones, and stay tuned for next episode, which is going to be a beautiful meditation to step into the gateway of all the different aspects of yourself.